Our next storyteller comes from down over in Highlands, and she has quite a way to look at life. And as she brings us along, there's usually a little bit of laughing. So please help me welcome Lyons.
My story is called Sleeping Indian. It was the first summer after my divorce, and my 7-year-old son ran out the door into the arms of his dad and new stepmom for the court-ordered 2-week vacation. I went to the movies, having no idea what was playing. The movie was City Slickers, about 3 men going off to a dude ranch. I thought, wow, I'd like to have a life-changing adventure like that. Do you believe in fate? Why had I received a catalog on Western adventures a few weeks earlier? 3 days later, I landed in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with my allotted 10 pounds. The word dude was not in the description. I packed my sleeping bag, down jacket, turtleneck, and, okay, I'll admit it, my lipstick and new underwear. And bought a black cowboy hat at the airport. I mean, what the heck? I was going out west. I met the other campers and we saddled up right in town. There were 3 couples, lifelong friends from Kentucky, and a newly married couple with their respective teenage daughters hoping for a bonding experience. We headed out single file up a dirt road with the view of Sleeping Indian Mountain in the distance. Sleeping Indian Mountain looked just like its name at 11,000 feet elevation, like a Native American laying horizontal, leathered face to the sun. I rode along with one of the guides, George, tall, lanky, beat-up hat, scuffed-up boots. But out there, that man was a genius. He knew all about the flowers and wildlife, and I expect he knew a lot about people, too. When one of the Kentucky crowd complained about not seeing a bear, he said, no, and you ain't going to either. Why, any animal with half a brain won't get near smoke. And if you so much as drop one butt on this earth, you'll dismount and pick it up. Whew. Well, they gave him some respectful silence. And George probably did this on purpose, but the Kentucky crowd had horses with names like Bucky and Lightning. But thankfully, my horse was a sweet little mare named Muffin. We forded streams filled with laughter, trotted through fields of wildflower, and stopped at the edge of a lake that reflected Sleeping Indian like a mirror. A big old trout jumped up in the middle, sending ripples out in all directions. Like some kind of cowboy guru, George said, yep, you never know where the ripple in your pond will end up. I needed a lemon to keep from smiling. I was living the movie. But 8 hours later, when we got to camp, my head was pounding and my butt was burning. As the steak sizzled and smoke filled the air, I eased into my tent and threw up in my new cowboy hat. I thought, Lord, I'm dying, but at least I've got on new underwear. I heard George, ma'am, are you all right? I said, heck no, I'm not all right. I've got that flu that kills you in 24 hours. He gave me some Dramamine for altitude sickness and said, sleep it off till morning. All night I huddled in my sleeping bag wondering, why hadn't I gone to a spa? I could be getting a massage right now. And what would my son think if I died on a trail ride? Well, the next morning, I awakened to the smell of coffee and bacon, and I was starving. I grabbed my toothbrush, ran down to the creek in my long underwear, took hold of a branch, and crack! I fell into the coldest water I have ever felt. I splashed past the campers. Help! Cowboy George to the rescue. Well, that episode pretty well broke the ice with everybody, and we warmed up to each other, which was a good thing because I needed some dry clothes. And after that, strange things started happening. Well, for one, it started snowing in July. And later, as we swapped stories around the fire, newly divorced, sipping Kentucky bourbon in that altitude, old George started looking pretty good. Well, the last night, we all met at the Silver Dollar Bar to say our goodbyes. George sauntered in looking completely different. Nice shaped hat, big silver buckle, exotic skin boots. He locked those sky blue eyes into mine, and those firm hands pulled me on the dance floor. I felt his firm thigh as we two-stepped around the room. Let me just put it this way. He was quite a dancer. Well, the last thing he said to me was, now, if you need rescuing, you know where I'll be. Well, I got back to my home on the coast of South Carolina. And I couldn't picture a cowboy out on the beach. And then my son came running back into my arms, and well, I knew that the dream of it would be better than the reality. That first solo adventure was over 30 years ago, and it truly was life-changing. Well, I realized there was a big world I wanted to see, and while it might be nice, I didn't have to have a man to go see it. I always thought I'd go back. But I went other places instead. And those ripples in my pond, well, they're still rippling. But now they're getting closer to that other side. Sometimes when I'm sleeping, I smell sweat mixed with horse's hair. And I still dream of that Indian, face like leather, riding up the dirt road, light as a feather. Thank you.